Okay. We're gonna get started nice and early. I call the list rewards because Elenda, Saint of Dusk, cares about your starting life total and how much you gain beyond it, and then you gain keywords and stat increases. Um, if you look here, already has lifelink and hexproof from instance, which I kind of want to put to the test. This kind of tech and gameplay tonight is I suspect that you'll dodge a lot of removal with that line of text. I think people are getting more efficient with their game, and that means they're playing with a lot more instants to rely upon for their single target removal. So I think this will be more effective than I think most would think it does. Now, I would say the more serious the play group, the more effective it gets. So you could kind of meta game around that. Like if you know you play with live casual players, probably not so much. You probably deal with a lot of sorcery speed removal, but I would say Moto, the casual scene is actually quite competitive, so I think we'll be all right. um, anyways, if your life total is greater than your starting life total, gets +1/+1 in menace, then gets an additional +5/+5 if your life total is 10 or greater than your starting life total. We're chasing that 10 or greater so we could turn her into a 10/10 and potentially one shot people. And we have tools in this list to help us get there. Let me reorganize this by type. I prefer talking about that. This list comes out to be $100, right on the money this week. So I'm pretty excited to be playing this and be legitimately at the desired budget. That and last week I played a more um, technical list. This is a more straightforward, I'm going to try and kill someone list. Has a couple of ways of winning outside of just combat, so we're not entirely reliant on just combat damage or commander damage, which is nice. I think most life gain decks just naturally have that kind of reach, and that's probably why I like life gain decks so much. Is um, I think they're secretly more powerful, um, and don't get as much play as I rarely see. I play Moto weekly at this point, play Magic weekly, and I rarely see life gain decks. Maybe it's more common for other people, but for me, not so much. And it's probably one of my favorite archetypes to play. We'll start off with our creature package, Keeper of the Accord. I really wanted to revisit these kinds of like catch-up mechanics, so I'm playing as many as I can. I want to see if they're just as good, if not better, in today's day in Magic. Because lately and historically, I've only ever played like 2 mana drop rocks, and I want to see if these have gotten better as time has passed. And Keeper of the Accord is great. Checks on every opponent's end step. If they have more creatures, you get a body. If they have more lands, you get a plains. So it's a nice little coattail kind of card. I mostly playing this like a Voltron list with our commander, but it's nice to be pumping out little bodies of block for us so we don't have to do anything risky with our commander. But our creature count is still pretty high. It's 26, and there's just some things I couldn't ignore from the creature side of things, and we ended up having more creatures than I probably intended. Hey, welcome, Marlon Arocha. I don't think we've met before in the past, but I'm glad you're here. We got Nighthawk Scavenger. This guy is just a sweet body with lifelink. Um, he scales up really nicely. He cares about card types of people's graveyards, and there's, I think, 7 now, including battles, but I'm not going to hold my breath expecting a battle to end up in the graveyard because they exile themselves in the moment that they die. So if they end up in the graveyard, they have to be milled or discarded or they have to end up in the graveyard some other way other than combat. Morbid Opportunities for card advantage. Golem says Stalker. This is kind of a fun synergy piece. Beginning of our end step, each opponent loses life based on the amount of life we gain this turn, and based on who's been hit by Golem. Um, our commander gets really big really fast, turns into a 10-10 just on our own. Thus, even if we get stuffed out by a blocker or blockers because she has menace, we're still going to be punching people for 10 points of damage minimally. And Golem's also somewhat difficult to block. He has Skulk, can be blocked by creatures with greater power than him. Skyclave for removal, flexible removal, alms collectors, because there's two powerful things in Magic. There is tutoring, and then there's drawing cards. And every time I have a budget answer to like farm decks or people who like to play toolbox the lists, I play them no matter what. And not only does it like hinder those strategies, it gives us card advantage ourselves. The Scope of Guild Mage, an alternative win condition where again our commander doesn't need to hit someone. We just activate this for the bottom 3 ability, and each opponent loses life equal life we gain. So there's a lot of effects that drain people for the amount of life we gain, but it's single targeted. This doesn't target anybody, so that's why it's significantly better. Gray Merchant is an oldie and goodie, drains people, and you gain life based on life lost. Knight of the White Orchid, revisiting that ramp package. Mengar the Diplomat, probably one of the best card advantage white cards in the game because it triggers so easily. If you get attacked by 2 creatures or someone casts 2 spells a turn, and in Commander, usually the person who casts the most spells in a game usually wins. So this thing will rack you up a significant amount of cards. At least, I would say 4 is what I expect. Probably even more, depending on how long this thing sticks around. And I like to draw cards based on mana investment. If I could get 4 cards, I'd be a very happy guy. Singromancer. We're not so much about the discarding plan, but I imagine creatures die a lot, and people are going to be trying to block our commander. It's 10 points of commander damage. They're not going to want it to happen. So on top of the 10 life you'll be gaining from just lifelink, 2 creatures are most likely going to die because it takes 2 creatures to block our commander. Thus, we gain an additional 6 life, 16 total in that scenario. Claim Jumper, haven't tried him out. This is one of those like new catch-up mechanic cards that I haven't personally got a chance to play, but it's like the cracked out version of Night of the White Orchid. For an additional mana, you search for 2 lands if people have more lands than you. Exemplar of Light, this is a new card for Foundations. Whenever you gain life, you get to draw a card, and it only happens once a turn, but we have plenty of ways of getting life on other people's turns that we should net a lot of cards off this. Again, hopefully we see 4 because that's how much mana we're investing into this. It also turns into a scary body. It can get big real fast and it's evasive. Wall of Reverence. I think it's kind of sad, but if you go back like 7, 8 years and you looked up life gain lists, this was in every single life gain deck. And you go on EDH Rec now, this is not in the recommended list. It's terrible. I think this card is super good. It's super good in this list because our commander turns into a 10-10. But on your end step, you gain life equal to the power of target creature control. Obviously, we'll pick our commander, gain 10 life. And it stuffs out a lot of aggro. It's a 1/6 defender with flying. Yeah, times have changed. I don't know why this has fallen out of favor in terms of like popularity, but I still think this is one of the best life gain cards in the business. And I'd like to shine a light on that, make people more aware of the oldies. Soul Warden, probably one of the best life gain cards in the game. Whenever any creature enters, you gain a life, including your opponent's. Felidar Sovereign as additional win condition. If we have 40 life at our upkeep, we win. Divinity of Pride, another oldie and a goodie. This came out when around when I first started playing Magic. Shards of Alar. No, this is Eventide. Yeah, that was actually. I started in 10th edition. It was the back end of 10th edition, and then Morningtide Shadowmoor block started, and that's when I started playing. And this is one of those. This is the first time they introduced these hybrid mana symbols. It was super cool and fun, and learning Magic and discovering that you could play, multiple colors in a single deck was like mind blown. Sorry, I kind of a little sidetracked, but um, it's super broken because if you have 25 or more life, we are guaranteed decks. We start off with 40, becomes an 8/8 with flying and lifelink, so we beat people down and get a lot of life at the same time. Lotho for a ramp package. Gaffer for card advantage. Weaver end step if we. Oh, it's each end step, so we could potentially gain life, 3 life on other people's turns, and draw cards on other people's turns as well. But pretty guaranteed on our own turn. Can ball the console of allocation. Whenever our opponent casts a non-creature spell, which is usually over half of people's decks, they lose life, we gain 2 life. We don't really care so much about the drain part, we care more about the gaining part. Enduring Tenacity. We talked about Viscopic Guildmage and how it's unique in that it doesn't target everybody or anybody. This does target someone, but it's new from Duskborn. If it should die, comes back as just an enchantment, and you get to keep this really sweet text box of whenever you gain life, target opponent loses life. Sorry about that. Rock's Faith Mender double our life gain when we should gain it. Soul's Attendant, just another copy of Soul Sister, or the other, I forget her name, Soul Warden. Veto, this is another one of those we gain life, target opponent loses that much life. I am surprised with how much more efficient these effects are getting. Like we got this, and we got the snake from Duskborn. Prior to Veto, the only thing we had was Sanguine Bond, and that's 5 mana, which I'm also running in here. But like, in terms of efficiency, the game is clearly got some pretty sweet power creep. Soren House of Markov. Um, on your second post-combat main phase, if you gain 3 or more life, he flips over, and then he has a -1 ability that just nukes people. Oh, there we go. We're gonna flip him over. So the -1 ability is what we're very interested in. It's basically like a veto effect, just on a planeswalker side. And that's all I'm really using him for. Although he does have Extort, which is incredibly useful in this list because you net way more man, or you net way more life from each activation when there's a lot of players still in the game. In Commander, you have 3 opponents, so every time you pay into a spell, in addition, you gain 3 life, and that -1 ability gets even better, and it excels our game, so we could get to 10 additional life. So Elenda gets that +5/+5 stat block. Angel of Destiny for another win condition. If we have 15 more life than our starting total, and this punches someone, they die on their end step. Death to the Deathless and a Sanguinate for closing out games. You just drain people for life, and you gain life equal to the life lost. Um, Lately, I've been liking these combat tricks where we surprise people. Double Strike is one of the best keywords for Voltron strategies. It's so much better with our commander because she herself becomes a 10/10. And if we can get one more power on her and plus double strike, those are like the 2 magical things we need going for us. And they decide not to block. You throw out Kaya's Onslaught. Not only do you get the stat block increase, but you also get the double strike. and you'll just one shot people with this. So I've had a lot of luck with these combat tricks where people don't want to trade off important pieces, and they'll just take it on the nose, and then you surprise kill them. And I've done that a couple of times. The last time I did that was this epic game where I was playing the Indoraptor, and I was so far behind that it really depended on a player to be really greedy and not block. I got in when I shouldn't have, tainted strike someone to death, and then the remaining player had one creature left to defend, and I had a relentless assault to follow up, and I killed that player in the same turn. Again, got sidetracked, but I love surprise mechanics, especially in Magic. Phalanx formation. There's not a lot of instant speed. You get something double strike. This is one of the three. I could be playing four with Achroma's. I forget what the other word is, but it's an instant speed 4-drop where if you have your commander in play, you get a very long keyword text box added to your commander. But it's like a $15 card, a little out of budget, so we're not playing it. Same with Rustler Rampage, double strike from what's this set? Thunder Junction. These are just removal spells that are efficient. Helion's Intervention kind of does both a removal piece and a life gain piece. To rocks. Oh, this is super good. Well of Lost Dreams. Whenever you gain life, you can pay X, where X is the amount of life you've gained. You draw that many cards. Slightly better than the latest. Is it Shalai or Shauna? I don't remember, but she is the Bant life gain commander. Where on end step you could pay mana into life gain and you draw that many cards. This is slightly better because you don't have to wait till your end step, so you could actually use the cards that you drew that turn if you got sorcery speed stuff. Um, Things like Bowls of Citadel go really far in life gain decks because obviously you have more life to play with and sacrifice to go all out with stuff like this. Um, a good addition for this list if you get more money to spare. Throw in things like Necrodominance and or Necropotence, and that way you can manipulate the top of your library and you'll never miss. I could spare some cards and throw them in here. Like if I cut Archaeomancer's map, which is part of our comeback ramp plan, this is around the same price as those two enchantments. So it's really tempting, but like I said, I wanted to revisit these and see how good they are in today's Magic. Twin Bladed Blessing, new from Foundations, gives double strike at instant speed. Sentinel's Eyes. I like it for the reusability. It has escape, and it gives that +1/+1 stat block we're looking for, and it gives vigilance, so it makes us extra defensive and extra aggressive at the same time. Test of Endurance for an additional way of winning. It acts like Felidar Guardian, but this one requires you have 50 life. Blind Obedience to tap our opponent's stuff down makes it so we could get more simple attacks in, and at the same time gaining a bunch of life with that X sword ability. Smuggler's Share. I was super surprised by the price point of this. $1.58. I remember when this was like spoiled and people were freaking out about it. I guess it never stuck around in popularity. I still think it's good. People like to draw cards. I like to draw cards. People like the ramp. I like the ramp. Uh, I think this hits way more often than this price point sets it at. We were talking about Sangling Bond, and Authority of the Consuls is also dirt cheap now. Got reprinted. Taps our opponent's stuff down so we get better attacks. And then gains this life whenever opponents play creatures. Okay. Let's us play the game. I like to not only just talk the talk, but I also like to walk the walk. I don't like to make recommendations to people and not show that I actually mean what I'm saying. So I actually play the darn decks on here. Make sure I got the right commander. Yeah. Make a lobby. How's my audio sound, by the way? I'm trying out a new software, and I think it's kind of cool because it also has little camera AI stuff too. Like it makes it so I make more eye contact with the camera than I actually am. That's just a bot doing that. So I thought that was super cool to try. Never done it before. The AI is also removing a lot of echo that I normally am having during my streams. It's also removing background noise that I have during my streams. So I'm kind of curious. I know there's two folks in here. I only see. Actually, check. I also discovered that there's a way that I can look at this. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Oh yeah. Thank you, Fearless. No echo, no background noise. How's the little eyeball thing? Is it weird? I figured the eye contact would be a good thing, and if people are watching from their phones or like even a computer screen, you wouldn't really notice much because I take up so little of the screen that it, you know, might not look weird at all. That it just look normal. Oh, um, something funny that I learned from Reddit. Um, I posted my Niv Mizzet list from last week, and I had no idea that Dragon's Approach did actually 3 damage, and I thought the whole time it did 4. And I didn't even notice it. I was just like having a ball, just drawing my whole deck, and people were like, you only draw 9 cards, not 12, so I think you have not enough in the list. I'm like, if you watch the video, you would say a lot differently. Clearly, 15 copies was more than enough to close out the game. But I did make myself look like a total ass on Reddit, thinking it was I draw 12, do 12 damage, and it was 9. I was having so much fun, I didn't even care to notice how many I was drawing because I was drawing so many. Yeah, this is a good hand. We got Ramp and Archaeomancer's map. Oh, I know Stoth personally. Just jumped in here. Hey, Stoth. Playing against Karametra, which is a typically a heavy ramp deck. Ziatora, this thing, could just shoot things and make treasure tokens. And Zixara can be a combo deck. If they get one of two enchantments, like Penim's Charm, they can untap it and make infinite mana, infinite colored mana. I don't know if that's how he's playing it. He might just be playing big dumb creatures. And I haven't played against Stoth in a long time. Um, he and I are both functioning members of society. We both have full time jobs. Not that the folks in chat or in my, other folks in my life don't, but like we lose a lot of time for fun, unfortunately, because of what our jobs require of us. And are just, I think his and my work schedules just don't line up, and that's why we haven't played Magic with each other in a long time. Like I think it's been months since I talked to him personally. Yeah, I don't know when they added the emotes. That's new. um, I paid $10 to play Archaeomancer's map tonight. I this deck probably should have only cost me $5 to play, but because I wanted to play this, it cost me 16. Yeah, I needed one for my collection anyways, and like the reason why it's so expensive on here when in reality it's not. Yeah. Um, it's because this was originally in Commander product that wasn't on Moto. The first iteration we got of it was actually in the Caverns of Ixalan Commander inserts. They're like treasure chest cards. So you'd pay. I had to pay a pretty penny for a relatively cheap card in paper. Got two cards already. My AI is also surprisingly strong in terms of blocking out background noise. My wife was vacuuming and you couldn't hear anything. So I was pretty impressed by that. My catch-up mechanic should be actually really good with this Karametra player. I have 16 planes, so I do think he will eventually get all my lands out of my library. And then I can't get any more, but at least I'll be keeping up with him pretty good this game. Strutstein, I imagine he would have preferred to play this more towards the mid game because then he gets something out of this ETB trigger. But he does make his he gets a coupon for creatures at least. A cool uncommon commander. Wonder what would be better. Angara at this point, probably. Seeing cards is good. Unfortunately, I can't stuff this out yet. Cards always has the highest upside. And it's so early in the game that it's probably a good time to play it. Usually I guess there is no downside to playing him in the mid or late. People have established mana bases at that point, and they are consistently casting spells, 2 spells a turn, most of the time. Now, if I miss my land drop, I'll go with Archaeomancer's Map. That way I could guarantee that I don't miss any. Yeah, this is why Esper Sentinel's so good. He invested 1 mana and saw 3 cards. I can't complain about him not doing it because I didn't pay for it with Thought Vessel. I think later Esper Sentinel gets a little weaker because you just have to pay for the first one, and people have excess mana at that point where they don't care. But playing a turn 1 is pretty darn good. I think 4 cards. If I do get the land, I'll probably play the Keeper. Just because I'm in the back end of the turn order, so these guys will each hopefully play more lands. It's the new guy. Super good. This is like the new boogeyman of Hydras. He's up there with Mana Gorger in terms of like how fast he builds himself up. I kind of want to play it. This Mana Gorger is one of my all-time favorite budget threats. We didn't get the land, so we're gonna go Archaeomancer's map instead. I wonder if that's better. Because if I miss the land drop now, it's almost not a big deal because these guys are all gonna play lands on their turn, especially the guy on the left. It's more upside. I probably get less lands down with this, but more here. And I put out bodies to block. Yeah, keeper's probably better here. Who do we want to make enemies out of? We'll punch the guy in the middle. I can't block the guy on the left. This could get really big and tag me back much harder. The bill's pretty scary. Yeah, he's making that S for bigger, so we have to pay more mana if we want to prevent him from drawing. Pretty slick. Gray Merchant's a good draw. We start getting our devotion a little higher. Wonder if he keeps piling it on the S for Sentinel. Yep. Now I really regret not playing Archaeomancer's map. Could have paid for that trigger my last turn. Can't so much now when it's 4 extra mana. About to be 5, I'm sure. Keep my life total lower so I don't get the benefits or the rewards. Pretty good. We're gonna play this Nighthawk Scavenger. Steer some aggression other directions. Wouldn't mind a board wipe either. Bristly Bill's pretty scary. Could sink 5 mana and double counters on everything. That was pretty slick. So he attacked me before he sacked the Tri-Builder, so his devotion went back to 6 and it turned back into an enchantment, which makes it a little more evasive to removal. Play another card. Let me get a draw trigger. Lilvel's good. It gets our devotion up nice and high too. We will probably dip low, but this Gray Merchant is starting to look better and better. Yeah, I wonder if a board wipe did happen, what this guy would pick from for Mimic Vat, because there's a lot of sweet choices here. Is this just a natural graveyard hate card too? Okay, the other copy goes to the graveyard. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that like it would just stack and then you could only make copies of the top card. That'd probably make Mimic that so much better than it already is. Can you pay that difference? It's pretty expensive. I don't think he's aware that Esper Sentinel's now a 3/3, not a 1/1. I think he went to tap that blue mana, expecting to pay the difference. Yeah, Karametra is hard to beat, especially if they got a card draw engine as well. Like, look, uh, the guy has seen 8 more cards than us. Some of them were lands, but most of them are just raw draw, and he reduces his chances of drawing more lands because he's just tutoring them out of his library. We drew our board wipe. I wonder if I could like juice this just a little bit more though. I think I'd rather play Bulls as Citadel. Drag a lot of unwanted attention our way. Plus, I kind of want to keep up with what's going on the left side here. Maybe I could find more black permanents to fuel up our Gray Merchant. Hey, we got a land drop. Take that. Got a swords. I wonder if taking away Bristly Bill is this just the better thing. It's making his stuff bigger right now. I want to take away the card advantage piece, but this has got way more threat capability. Yeah, I think we're gonna milk this dam out pretty long. Ricked on the Sanguinate. Can't pay X into this. I think I'd rather just leave it on top. Or I could keep going to look at more cards. Yeah, we're gonna look at more cards. Okay. Get the land out of the way. Yeah, that's that for us. No safe attacks for Mingara. I cut the gap between us and the other guy on the left. Now I'm only 3 cards behind him. Although his turn's gonna be super good, I'm sure. He's got a full grip. He's got all the mana in the world. Yeah, I did cycle it. God. This guy's got a lot of money in his deck over there. Feel Dead accounts for like half my budget. Operations like a fifth of my budget. We did say that he's gonna have a good turn. Shouldn't be surprised. Well, now my dam's getting better. Hopefully, he doesn't find like a concordant crossroads and give all this stuff haste. A little concerning. Grand Abolisher locks us out of his turn. You just need to hope he doesn't find a way to like save his lands and play like an Armageddon effect. There's a couple of ways he could do it. How much is Esper Sentinel too? It's not like a $23 card in paper. That asking me. Okay. Crop rotation. Gaia's Cradle. Right. Okay. Well, you are way out of my budget. Almost feels silly looking up at how much this thing costs. Well, you know, Gaia's Cradle's like $1,000. Oh, shit. Yeah, 17 bucks. If I played Dam earlier, would that have changed much? Probably not. He would have got the Field of the Dead down, got his creature count high anyways. Well, my Bol's Citadel's probably dead. And my Smuggler Share. Destroyed no one else's. Yes. Like a swamp. Alright, if we don't lose here at Tooth and Nail, then I don't know. I don't know what to say. We should lose here. He could get a creature that enables haste. No, Avacyn and Hexproof. So now my dam is worthless. Sending everything my way. I'm a good choice. I'm the only one that's been threatening to him at all. In both card advantage and in permanents. He had no reason to attack anyone else, really. Now I kind of need Toxic Deluge to answer all that. Cool. Oh, this is hexproof too? Alright. We can't dark steal anything in his board. Imagine he sacks the Phyrexian Soul Gorger and shoots the guy on the left. Then he gets a Mimic Vat trigger. Maybe he'll change his targets from someone other than me. Get some pressure off our backs. It's definitely an arch enemy matchup here. This guy's got like a couple grand on the table. I think between the three of us, we probably have like $10. Can he do it again? He can do it again. He's got 3 treasures. Why not? Oh wait, this happens on end step, I think. Yeah, okay. You could do like a combat trick and bring it back for like a blocker or something. Yeah, the guy on the left has not had less than 7 cards in his hand all game long. Ugh, I hate being behind someone else in terms of cards. Feels like a really rough uphill battle. Found his black source. Thorn's nice. Get our life back up. Cushion ourselves. We're gonna try to save this Grey Merchant for as long as we can. We have a veto, so we could theoretically do enough damage between this middle player and me to kill him. If we survive that long, I doubt it, but we have a fighting chance. I have a feeling this guy just drew a bunch of removal and will just take away my pieces like he did last round, and we'll just be in the same position we left off. Not gonna go to combat. I don't see the need of playing Archaeomancer's map and giving this guy more cards. Like, it doesn't change much. And I just feel like this guy's got an Armageddon in his hand or something. Turn from our boy on the left. I didn't see what he got back. Yeah, I'll look at the game log, I guess. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna play it anyways, and it's not gonna matter. Tooth and nail. Doing it once isn't enough. Elish Norn. And Zopendrill. So he doubles all the power here. He might die. Killed off all my tokens, so I don't have as much to block with. Remember when I said earlier in this game, the definition of what casual was on uh, Moto? This is what you can expect pretty consistently. Guy's cradle's perfectly fine. Now we're Degs. We can't block. These are all 8/8s. Just between these zombies, that's 40 damage. That's enough to kill Sta. The Avacyn and Karametra is enough to kill me. And then I'm sure that between whatever's left off is enough. Now they have double strike. I think one creature hitting each of us is enough to kill us now. Well, it was a bit of a pub stomp, but that's okay. Happens. I think part of the purpose of why I build decks on a budget is so you could at least try to compete with decks like that. Um, we were doing pretty decent. I think table order kind of got us a little badly. Like, um, our sitting position and my dam in my hand, there wasn't really a good time to pull the trigger for it. Uh, Thinking about it, if I could have done anything different, there's not really much, and it's because just how the cookie crumbled. So I hope you enjoyed. We didn't win. That's okay. Happens all the time. I think next week we'll be playing Zimone, and then I'm just gonna do a for the final week for Foundations. I was just gonna do whoever voted in a random commander. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I think from these, I also had one of my channel members also comment for me to play a certain commander. I forget his name, but Sam made the request. Uh, Certain individuals on the channel get extra pull. Brandon R1 gets a little extra pull. You could tell based on the little icon next to their name. It's based on how long they've been a member of the channel for. And we can look at that stuff too and talk about it a little bit. I set up the tiers so they're the cheapest that one could pay for if they wanted to support the channel in another way. Um, it kind of made sense to set it up that way because I build a lot of decks on a budget, so it wouldn't feel right to ask for a lot if people wanted to support me monetarily. And most of the reason why I set that up is because uh, I had folks ask if they could, and that's why it's there. Trying to see. Thought I could look at that stuff from here. Maybe not. No, I should be able to. Members. There we go. Yeah, so I have 4 members, or maybe 3. Yeah, I got 4. And if any of these 4 ask anything special of me, part of their membership is I honor that. There's like different tiers, as you can tell. There's senior officers, senior enlisted. So I think I am going to honor one of their requests by the end of the 4th week. But yeah, Zimone left, and then I think December 11th, when that rolls around, the Jumpstart commanders from Foundations will be added to Moto, and then I could talk about those and play those on the channel as well. And I don't know when the next Magic sets to come out. Does anyone know? I think it's like Innistrad remastered or something like that, which isn't really all that exciting. Maybe the full arts will be pretty exciting. Aether Adrift comes out the 14th. Tarkir doesn't even have a date yet. Yeah, we have a nice little break in terms of Magic releases. 2 months. That's kind of unusual for this day and age of Magic. Oh, Aether Adrift is January? It says February in here. Maybe it's wrong. It's not exactly official. Oh, Jesus. That wouldn't surprise me. If there's. Okay, so January is the Innistrad Remastered. I'm probably only going to be interested in the full arts. Kind of like what they did when they remastered Ravnica. This set's pretty exciting, though. I love the design of it. I like the idea of it. I like racing across different planes. But this will be a nice. I kind of like these remaster sets for a break for, I guess, product fatigue, because like only diehard players really care about this. Like I care a little bit because I'm a sucker for full art cards, but like I only buy, you know, those specific cards, and there's anywhere from 10 to 20 of them, so it's like it's a cheap buy-in for me. Uh, and then the actual stuff starts kicking in, and then that's a little heavier on the wallet. But these are separated by 2 months too. Yeah, we need a goofy set once a year. I agree. What was this year's goofy set? I don't even remember. There's been so much product. I don't know. It's a tie between Bloomborough and Thunder Junction in terms of like the weird stuff. Neither of them took themselves too seriously. Yeah, yeah. Adapting faster is it's a good quality to have in terms of Magic. Yeah, this is totally blows Bloomborough and Outlaws out of the water. I don't think anything comes close to this from last year. I think I'll make a video about my favorite commanders from this year. There's so many that I played, and I've had a lot of luck playing online and building lists. So I think that'll be a fun video to talk about why I like them and recommend them to other people to try. Well, let's see who's all in here and say our final goodbyes. Um, Thanks, Rickman. Uh, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks, Fearless. Thanks, Marilyn. And there's at least one more person in here. I didn't catch your name, but thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great night. Take care. Bye.